Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Gnomoria here in Devil Dagger. As you can see, we have a few things being moved around. In between episodes, we had another yak born. I also slated some armor to be made by the armorer, and that has been moved down to this stockpile here. So we have a full set of armor. Well, actually, we're missing a gauntlet for some odd reason. I'm not really sure why we're missing a gauntlet. That doesn't make too much sense in my opinion. Let's go ahead and try and find that gauntlet to make sure that we have it, and apparently we do not have it. So we're gonna go ahead and tell the armorer to make that gauntlet, and we're going to tell him to cancel that bronze plate and unsuspend this workshop. I had it suspended simply because I noticed that our kingdom worth is at 29,000, which means that we're right on the cusp of getting ogres, and so I wanted to get a tower shield made so that one of our soldiers could serve as a taunter and to try and aggro all the attention of the ogres onto his tower shield, because they'll have much better chance of defending themselves than a gnome without armor and a tower shield. I also cleared out a little area up here that leads down to our woodworking workshop. This area is going to be for the tailor area, and that's just to facilitate a little bit easier interaction between the two workshops, because a lot of things happen between the armorer, the woodworking, and the tailor. So rather than having the tailor right here going in between both of them and having to figure out pathing and everything, I figured it'd be easier just to have it above the woodworker's workshop. And as soon as this gauntlet gets made, we can go ahead and... Did they actually make that gauntlet? There's no way they already made that gauntlet. I'm not too sure what happened exactly. I thought that I asked for it to be made. So we'll go ahead and remake it again. Tell them to remake the gauntlet. And that should complete the set of armor. And now we should have a full set of armor. Yep. Alright, that means that we can now set up the uniform for our taunter. And we're going to call this a sentinel, because it guards the front gates, essentially. And we're just going to tell him to wear any kind of metal armor, basically. For right now, anyway. We might do some color coding at some point, but for right now we'll leave it be. And we're going to tell him to use a tower shield, and the position, we'll also call the position sentinel, just so that I know exactly what that person is going to be doing. And there's a particular skill, I can't remember which one it is, that... Okay, guard. Increased block chance. Yeah, that's the one that I want. And sentinel. And maybe it's not guard. It might actually be taunt. That's the one that I want. It's taunt. And retreat if bleeding. Retreat to equip uniform. Assist the squad leader. We're not going to pursue lost targets with them, but that should do it. We'll go ahead and create a new formation, and we'll call this front line. And let's see, what kind of perk do we want? For right now, we're going to use shield wall. The leader we'll leave as a monk, and the two bottom positions will fill as sentinels. And these monks are actually going to change, but for right now, we'll leave it be. And we need to change the blue slaughterers to front line. And I actually thought it'd be a good idea for Chase Watson our only named gnome in this particular squad to be our first sentinel, so we'll go ahead and change that to Chase. And remember that we need to move Oodlefuzzle back into the squad here. And hopefully that will mean that Chase comes along and picks up all this armor here at some point, when he's not busy anyway. We have our bronze shield boss done, which is nice. We need to get the backing set up as well. So, and it looks like they're just trying to make the bars for that, and as soon as that's done, they'll move on with that. But in the meantime, while that's going on, I think it might be a good idea to go ahead and just create some wooden shields just to give the other gnomes something to train with. And I don't particularly care, but we'll use pine. So we'll put 3 pine shields in the queue, get those all set up, and we're also going to want some weapons. So I think, oh, it's actually not in the carpenter, it is over here in the stone area that I wanted. So let's go ahead and do a sword, a hand axe, and a hammer. And we'll use a pine hilt. And not really sure, I guess I never created a hand axe. But I'll leave it up to them what kind of wood they want to use. And that will actually give us another reason to go back into the military tab and create another uniform. We'll just give them some general titles for right now. We might give it something a little bit more interesting later. Tell them a stone sword and a wooden shield for right now. And go ahead and tell the same thing. And let's see here. I'm not sure if the shield actually counts as a weapon in the game, so for right now we're gonna go ahead and leave that off. Let's see. A swordsman, I think the best thing to do is to... I think we're gonna go disarm. Go ahead and get rid of all the, get rid of any weapons or anything that the goblins or the ogres happen to be wearing, which I'm pretty sure ogres actually don't, wear any weapons whatsoever. I think they're just strictly physical melee fighters. And we need to create another uniform, and we'll just call it an Axeman for right now, because that's what we're going to be using. So a stone hand axe and a wooden shield, and I had to have passed it. There it is. And a position. Go ahead and do the exact same name to get it what we actually want them to do. And we're going to use disarm as well for the Axeman. Simply, like I said, to disarm the gnomes and get rid of their arms and legs. Because you can chop off the legs and the arms, you can actually make it to where ogres cannot hit you. Let's see, retreat to equip uniform, assist squad leader, do not pursue lost targets. And finally, we're gonna have the hammerer. Let's give it something else. We'll call it Thor's Squire. Just because, oh, that's actually not what I wanted to do at all. That is what it's supposed to be called. So go ahead and do that, and Thor's Squire. And go ahead and stone hammer with a wooden shield. And then position. And Thor's Squire again. And you can give these unique names if you want, but just for my own sanity, I like to kind of use the same name just because it makes it easier for me to identify what type of uniform it's supposed to be using. And take off pursue lost targets. And front line, we will make the leader a swordsman and an axeman and a squire. And that should do it for there. We're gonna change. They're already changed to a front line. All right. Unfortunately, we still have a farmer in this mix, so we might have to change him to a soldier once we get another wave of nomads. And hopefully they get to work on all that in the meantime. And looks like a monitor. Oh, why are you going out there to fight the monitor lizard? That is not what I wanted you to do. Sometimes I really don't. Polokevla has died from a frickin' monitor lizard. Are you kidding me? Ugh. See, this is what really bugs me about this game, is I tell them not to pursue lost targets, I tell them not to go outside, and yet they still insist upon going out there and trying to mess with wildlife. And if I'm not mistaken, that means that, yep, one of our gnomes has died. One of the soldiers, rather, has died, and they're already short-handed as it is. Alright. Well, we're gonna change Janet to a soldier. Sorry, it's really getting on my nerves that they keep doing this. I don't really understand why the AI keeps doing it, and it looks like they're actually trying to... They're still trying to fight it. Not really sure why they're having such a hard time with this monitor lizard. Somebody finally came out with a weapon, and so hopefully we can actually start killing this thing rather than trying to punch it to death. I don't know why they are having such a hard time with this monitor lizard. It's like this thing is indestructible. Let's see how he's doing. It's bleeding from his upper body, lower body, right leg, left back foot, tail, and right arm. Has a seriously injured right eye. And apparently an injured mouth. Finally. Well, Polokevla has died, so that means we need to go ahead and make her a grave. We're also going to butcher that monitor lizard. So we'll go ahead and go down here. And we will go ahead and dig a ramp down. And just to remember exactly how we did this, tell them to dig a ramp down right there. And hopefully somebody will come along and do that. And that's done. And I'm not yeah, I didn't think that we could do that, unfortunately. So we'll go ahead and tell them to dig a ramp down there and then dig a hole there. Because that's where we want the body to be stored, so go ahead and dig that hole. And now we tell them to designate a stockpile. Alright, and for right now we're not actually going to name it. That's going to be on up top. Let's see. We need to go down. Body part. Corpse. And I want to move that to maximum priority. That way they go ahead and get it done. So that should give them what they need to get down there. And, oh, of course, we have a nice group of goblins attacking. Alright, well, looks like they've got some pretty decent fighters here. They have a worn hand axe, copper shield, copper helmet, and copper breastplate, so here's to the first test of our fort. And we need to tell them to go ahead and make this tower shield on the double. So hopefully everybody come... Nope, that's not what I wanted. I wanted the actual goblin. I want all the squads to come out here and attack. Alright, so it looks like we have 5 goblins right now. A goblin has died. It looks like they're hitting things. Alright, how is Chase Watson doing? He's in good health, so that armor is actually helping out a lot. And all the goblins have died, so we'll go ahead and tell them to butcher all those corpses. Alright. Bit of an exciting episode. Alright, not really sure what they're waiting on. I wish I could tell them to add this to a higher priority. Not really sure what they're waiting on. And that's definitely not the corpse that I wanted down there. Alright, let's go ahead and speed things up and hopefully they'll get through all these bodies real quick. If somebody would be so kind as to hurry up and go get that final goblin. Alright, and somebody should be along. Yep, there goes Polyclefla. And we'll follow him down. Alright, now what we need to do is to dig a hole here, and we need to build a floor, and we will use the water engraved floor because it looks like writing, and then smooth stone. Man, it's really a bummer that we lost another gnome. We're only 2 years in, and we've already had 2 losses. Things are not looking all too well right now. But unfortunately, that's the price you pay when you have people do stupid things like trying to attack Mother Nature. And we're also going to build a statue for Polyclefla. We will wait till all those floors are replaced. And they're almost done. As soon as that block is replaced, I can put down this statue and then write her epitaph. Is that what it's called? Epitaph, I believe. Not too sure. I could be wrong. Alright, so here lies Polyclefla, I think is how you spell it. Let's check. Polyclefla. Yeah, that's how you spell it. Jeez. Well, I guess it was bound to happen eventually. I didn't want it to happen that early, unfortunately. Let's see, do we actually have... Okay, Chase does have his tower shield, so that should actually help out a lot with the, That is... Yeah, bronze armor plate is what I wanted, and I want to keep 19 in there for right now. That way we can actually create another full suit of armor. And we also are keeping 11 padding and 7 leather straps on hand at all times, because that's what's required to create a full suit of armor. And those are done at the tailor and the leatherworkers workshop. And speaking of that, we can actually tell them to start moving the tailor's workshops up here. But I think that's going to have to wait until next episode. We didn't get as much done in this episode as I wanted, but at least we got a little bit of combat to test against our new full suit of armor, so that's nice. I had to build another grave, which I'm not too happy about, but unfortunately you have to do what you have to do. But alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Leave a like and some comments down below if you have any feedback for me. If you'd like to be added, go ahead and drop a name down and I'll be happy to add you on the next Nomad wave. But from everyone here in Devil Dagger, hope to see you all in the next episode. Oh, we actually have a merchant that arrived at the very last second, which is pretty cool, but that will have to wait until next episode. So, from everybody here in Devil Dagger, y'all have a good one.